Hey, good evening, and thank you for joining us on the Scabbard tonight. It is game night versus, well, actually at the New Jersey Devils. A really great game on Tuesday night. I said the Sabres going into last weekend had to win three out of or two out of three, um, and they did. So they had a great effort against the Islanders, had a decent effort against the Montreal Canadiens, and just didn't win the game. And then they had it was a good effort for 55 minutes, and then it kinda got squirrely there for a little bit, against the Ottawa Senators, but they did manage to come away with a 6-4 victory on Tuesday night, during Frozen Frenzy. I hope you all watched a ton of hockey that night. It was a great night of hockey, and the Sabres came out victorious. It was a good show, but I would say by every measurable, stat, they should have lost that game. And I think, sometimes it kind of those 2 games, the Montreal game and the Ottawa game, kind of prove that, sometimes you play a decent game and lead the statistical categories, and you just don't win. And, in this case, they were worked in the statistical categories and still won the game. Um, let's see, stat of the night, 30 to 24 shot on goal difference and a season high of 31 penalty minutes. That'll get into our Sens game review. Um, they didn't chase the game, which was, one of my keys to the game. Going into that game was not chasing the game because they were the road team. They were playing on short rest versus a team that had a couple nights off. Um, they looked pretty good. Um, did I want them to get more shots? Absolutely. But they took care of their chances. Whenever they had chances early in the game, all the way through that second period, they took them, and they didn't allow that goal by Jacob Chikrin in the middle of the second to make it 3-1 to shake their confidence. They were able to rally for a couple more goals uh, to close out the period and come into the third with a 5-1 lead, which they held until 15:35 of that third period, which is less than 5 minutes left. And then there was just a barrage, and for me, it's understandable. You don't wanna see it. It would've been nice if they closed out the game 5-1, that, Ottawa didn't have to pull the goaltender because they just kinda gave up, but they did. Yeah, they made a nice comeback. Um, let's see. Yeah, so at 15:35, Vladimir Tarasenko scored. Then some undisciplined play led to power play uh, with Dylan Cousins in the box, and Josh Norris scored on the power play. Then 20 seconds later, Matthew Joseph put a little lump in everyone's throats on the Sabres side, scoring at 18:58. So a minute two remaining in the game, um, and made it 5-4. And before Tage Thompson let the pressure off and got that really kind of squirrely empty net goal. I didn't think that was going to go in, but got that goal. He was the second of the night. So point number two, the big dogs ate in that game. Tage Thompson scored two. Jeff Skinner scored two. Zemgus Girgensson had a goal, and Alex Tuck. So of the former first line, everybody scored in that first line, but it was good to get Tucky going. He was a focus at after the Montreal game in the media, and so he got his first goal of the season. Had a fight against Brady Kachuk towards the end of the game. Um, Questionable play by Brady Kachuk, and then punched Tuck when he was on the ice, which was should have been suspension from my perspective. Should have been suspended for that, but the NHL is not going to go after its stars like that. So Brady Kachuk gets a free pass on that one. But glad that Tuck is listed as playing tonight. At least so far, that's the last I've seen. Nothing saying that he's going to be out. So no worse for the wear. But yeah, 6-4 victory. UPL looked good. And it's hard to say that when your goaltender gives up four and three in less than 3 minutes. But again, I think the defense, the team ran out of gas. They had the penalty problems. They had, you know, the defensive coverage broke down in front of UPL, but he did look good for the most part. Um, did make me wonder during the game that if UPL and Comrie really step up over this next stretch of games while Levi's dinged up, is there going to be kind of an idea that perhaps we can send Levi down for more actual seasoning in the minors, while uh, Levi and UPL fight it out at at the Sabres level. I don't think we're not anywhere near that. That's just conjecture that if this does come to pass, will the Sabres consider it? I think so, to free up a roster spot and make sure that Levi's getting playing time. If it becomes a situation where Comrie and UPL take the reins, then I'm not opposed to that because one, Levi's in his not even his I mean, he's still in his rookie season. He played 7 games last season, so still considered a rookie. No shame in going down and spending some time in the minors because he didn't spend any time in the minors when he got signed. So, um, and we've had some really good goaltenders have some time in the minors, including Ryan Miller. No shame in that. But yeah, so let's turn the page on that game. Got a few nights off. Some other teams have been playing. New Jersey has also been off since Tuesday night. They are 3-2-1 on the season. So they are tied for sixth in the Metro Division, which I think, for a lot of people looking at the um, predictions before the season, New Jersey, based off of last season, a lot of people were saying New Jersey's a contender. And again, it's early. Who's to say that they're not going to just go on a massive run? The thing with New Jersey last year is that they went on a massive. They had a little bit of struggle right out of the gate. The first 3 games were rough. Um, in fact, speaking of rough, they're chanting Fire Lindy. But then they just went on this magical run throughout the rest of the season, and they had this record for the largest single season point improvement from the year before, which they had 70 some odd points. I think they finished behind Buffalo, um, and they ended up with like 115 points at the end of the season, like a 50-point improvement, 53-point improvement, or something like that. Um, last game that out, they also allowed third period goals, but they weren't as lucky as they lost to the Caps 6-4. Alex Ovechkin getting his first goal of the season, an empty netter to seal that game, and so they're coming in 3-2-1, a little bit down from where I think a lot of people are thinking. There's been a lot of swirl around the team, especially defensively, and there's been complaints about guys like Timo Meyer, who's playing on the first line, whether he is giving the requisite effort. No question about the effort of one Jack Hughes. Jack Hughes right now is leading the league in points. He's got 4 goals, 13 assists, or 17 points in 6 games. That's quite the pace. That's Connor McDavid pace, and Connor McDavid isn't even doing that because he's out injured. So, yeah, let's take a look at the look at the projected lines. This is per Devils beat reporter Amanda Stein via Twitter this afternoon. The lines for the New Jersey Devils are like this. First line, Tyler Toffoli, centered by Jack Hughes and Timo Meyer. That second line is Andre Palat with Nico Hischier and Jesper Bratt. Very good second line. Third line is Eric Howla, Dawson Mercer, and former Sabre alert, Curtis Lazar. So always be on the watch out for those former Sabres. They always seem to score on us. So Lazar on the third line. He's actually just been promoted up from the fourth line. He was playing fourth line recently. Alexander Holtz, kind of one of those prospects that the Devils picked up when they were kind of bad. Um, it hasn't really struck too much at the NHL level, but he's still young. But he's on the fourth line. He moved down from the third line with Michael McLeod and Nathan Bastian. Bastian is another guy that tends to score on the Sabres, so look out for that fourth line. Um, you know, I it's a good lineup up and down the lineup. Um, It's interesting that they're not doing. I think a lot of people are thinking they're not doing as well as they should be, and I got a couple theories about that, but we'll talk about that in a moment when we get through the Devils' projected defensive pairings. We got Jonas Siegenthaler paired with Dougie Hamilton. Anybody who watched my old show know the hatred that I have for Dougie Hamilton, not the player or the human, to the fact that he calls himself Dougie. He's a goddamn grown man. Call yourself Douglas or Doug. Dougie. Ugh. Anyway, second defensive pairing, Kevin Ball, John Marino, who the Devils absolutely stole from the Pittsburgh Penguins. And then third pairing, Luke Hughes, the young Hughes brother, is up with Brendan Smith on that third pairing. I would expect by the end of the season, you'll start seeing Luke Hughes up on that second or third or even first pairing. He's this that entire Hughes family is a bunch of special talents. So um, we'll have to look out for him. Devils goalies tonight. Getting in the net tonight is Vitek Vanacek, backed up by Akira Schmid. Um, so Vanacek has had a really good run against the Buffalo Sabres. I think he's 8-2-1 in 11 starts, sub goals against, I think 9-2 something goals against average. So Vanacek's had a lot of luck. He's had some good teams in front of him. Good Washington team and a good New Jersey Devils team. So the Sabres will need to solve Vanacek tonight. Um, and then let's talk about their scratches. There's only one listed on the scratches. Thomas Nosek is on IR and will not play tonight. But yeah, that's the New Jersey Devils. Uh, so people have been talking about the Devils not being as good as they were last year. There's talk about whether it's their goaltending or whether it's their defense or what's going on there. I I think with a lot of teams that arrive a year earlier than they should, and I would say that last year the Devils arrived earlier than they should. They should have been around the same level that the Sabres were. Natural progression of teams like 20-point jump is a pretty significant jump in the standings. Um, and then they went like 50 points, and they won a round of the playoffs. So now a team that arrived a little earlier than they should has. It's not like they went from you know out of playoff team to playoff contention to playoffs to expecting to win rounds. They went all the way to winning rounds in one season, and now they are under like really intense scrutiny, especially in the New York media market. Yeah, I know it's New Jersey, but still, New York media market being singled out as one of those perhaps promotion channels. I We'll check it out. Um, but yeah, the expectations coming into the season that they are going to be a Stanley Cup contender, and maybe they're not dealing with it as they should. And honestly, um, you know, uh, Jack Hughes is dealing with it well. It's the rest of the team that's having issues, and so maybe you let Jack Hughes do his thing, shut down the rest of the team that seems amenable to being shut down. Um, but yeah, I mean, Jack Hughes, 17 points in 6 games, could carry a team by himself. So he's kind of that. I don't say he's Connor McDavid, but he's getting into that category, which is what I don't think they really expected Jack Hughes to get to that level, and maybe it's not sustainable, but he's playing at Connor McDavid levels right now. So we'll see what happens with the Devils. We'll see what happens tonight with the Devils. They It may be a good time for us to catch them on the schedule, where they're starting to doubt themselves a little bit. So, um, and it also may be a bad time because they may kind of come out pissed off. So, anyway, 7 o'clock will let us know. Sabres forward lines tonight. This is per I believe Paul Hamilton put that out, maybe Lance Lasowski. Anyway, Greenway, Thompson, Cousins, Skinner, Middlestat, Tuck, Paterka, Krebs, Jost, Olafson, Gergensons, and Okposo. So Benson is back out. Jost is back in. Jost moves up into Benson's spot on that third line. Olafson drops down to the fourth line, and so that's the forward lines tonight. Our defense does not change, which is great. Samuelson, Darlene, Power, Yoki Haru, Johnson, Clifton. Um, Sabres goalies tonight. Eric Comrie and is going to get the start. Uko Pekka is our backup tonight. Again, I didn't think Luukkonen played bad on Tuesday. Got the win. So, 4 goals against is tough, but again, I think the team left had some issues and ran out of gas as that game went on. All right. So, scratches tonight are going to be Zach Benson, healthy scratch, or at least I haven't heard anything about him being getting dinged up. Devin Levi still day to day with the injury. Jacob Bryson healthy, and of course Jack Quinn is on long term injured reserve. So those are the scratches tonight. Tonight's odds that I pulled earlier from DraftKings, Buffalo getting a goal and a half on the road, just like the last game against Ottawa, and the over under is 7, same as the Ottawa game as well. So they Buffalo did their work early to hit that 7 mark last game. It was a little touch and go for that 7 mark until about the end of the third period when Ottawa started scoring and they were able to eclipse 7 goals in the over under. All right, let's talk about our player profile tonight. One of the newest Sabres, Connor Clifton, was signed in the offseason from the Boston Bruins, spending his entire NHL career up until this season with the Boston Bruins. He was he was actually drafted by the Arizona Coyotes. Did he play with the Coyotes at all? Yeah, I thought he got traded at some point. Yeah, so Connor Clifton was drafted 133rd overall by the Arizona Coyotes. Um, and yeah, he failed to reach an agreement with the Arizona Coyotes, and he signed a contract with the Providence Bruins and played there, and then got into the Bruins system. Um, Very serviceable defenseman. Of course, he played on that record-breaking team last season. Had 5 goals, 18 assists in 23 points in 78 games. So relatively healthy. Although that's been kind of his first season that he's relatively healthy. So that might be a concern moving forward for the Buffalo Sabres. That Clifton might have some injury issues, but last year was relatively healthy. Only missed 4 games. Um, but yeah, good defenseman. He's thrown some pretty good hits. He's had some tough luck early on as a Sabre, where he's pucks have gone in off of him, bounced in off of him. Um, I think every season there's one defenseman that kind of wears that, and it seems like this season is Connor Clifton. But I think he's done well. He's added some grit and toughness and some bang to the lineup, especially on the back end. And I think he makes a decent pair with Eric Johnson. So, 3 keys to the game tonight. Be extra careful with Jack Hughes. Jack Hughes, like I said, has 17 points on the season. Um, Exploit the shaky defense. They have there's there's a reason why they're 3-2-1, and not rocketing up the Eastern Conference ladder. I would definitely probably play more of a counter game tonight. I don't know how that would get into a track meet, especially with the first line. Maybe the second and third lines, which are a little bit older. Um, but yeah, the defense is shaky. Try and exploit that. Keep the goal scorers going. Tage Thompson seems to be going now. Jeff Skinner's going. Let's keep it rolling. And then let's have that first 55-minute effort versus the last 5-minute effort we saw versus Ottawa. Um, it wasn't fantastic. Like I said, there are sometimes when you play a great game and you don't win, and then there's sometimes you don't play the greatest game and you still win. That was a real more of an example of the latter in Ottawa. We didn't have the greatest game, but we took advantage of our chances and won the game. Um, so if we can keep that energy that we had in the first 55 minutes, plus we've had a little bit of time off since that back to back on Monday and Tuesday, so should be a little bit more rested and ready to go. Let's see. No new notes today from the Sabres. No audio from the Sabres either. I guess they don't do that when they're on the road, so it kind of sucks. I like having the audio for the show. But anyway, if you're interested in becoming a co-host on the show, please reach out to me on my social media. If you're watching it, you're on one of my social medias, just reach out to me through there. Or that's my email, davidtvalente@gmail.com. Uh, Let me know you're interested in coming on and being a co-host on the show. Would love to have you. We'll talk, see how we vibe together, kind of go over what how this show goes, and see what see how that works out. So, anyway, that is it for the night. We got 9 minutes until the Sabres pregame show happens on MSG. Go check that out with Duffer and Marty, or on WGR Paul Hamilton. Um, and enjoy the game tonight. We will be back on. I think our next game is against the Colorado Avalanche. Another tough game. Like we this uh, this schedule this at the beginning of the season has been really tough. Um, yeah. So schedule. There we go. Yeah, so we got Colorado on Sunday at 1 p.m. So the show will be at noon on Sunday. And then next game after that will be 6 o'clock start for the show on Wednesday, the first. So maybe I'll be dressed up for Halloween for the Colorado game. But anyway, um, that's the show for tonight. Thank you for joining us. I appreciate it, whether you're watching us on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook. I really appreciate it. Smash the like and the thumbs up, and we'll talk to everyone in a couple days. Go Buffalo.